Hey everybody, it's Eric with What's in the Box, and we're continuing the Texas Horror Lit Fest author interviews. And tonight we are joined by Brandi Gibson. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Um, why don't let's usually I start with a question, but I actually want to start with your book because I saw an interesting quote. So how would you describe your book that's out right now?
Well, it's part one of two. So the first part I would describe the entire thing as Buffy meets Dylan Dog meets Constantine. So
Okay, that's what I saw, and I was like,
it's
that's very intrigued by that. Some of my favorite
it
things. So
and it actually will be true later as the story progresses, because he will end up being he'll be a lot closer to Constantine, but he'll still have his humor because he gets by with humor,
yeah,
as most people who have to deal with death half the time do. So,
yeah, for sure. There's
yeah.
definitely a heavy sarcasm to a Constantine-like character and dark humor and all that to make them um, appealing, I think, in a way, and also just fun to be with. But you also understand why they would be that way because it is a lot of heavy things to deal with. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it doesn't to me it doesn't like sit really heavy as a writer and as a reader. So,
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
you
Yeah,
gotta
you
have
definitely
humor.
need to have that punch up so that
Yes.
you don't want to be a Debbie Downer. So,
No, no.
yeah, no, I totally get that. So now let's slide into Um, the first question, Freddie, Jason, Michael.
Freddie, Jason, Michael. Oh,
And you can tell
as
me
in
which
which
one's your
one?
favorite. You want to put them in order,
Okay.
if you want to hate on all three of them, whatever you want to do.
Freddie, Jason, Michael. Let's see the first Halloween movie I watched technically was Michael, and then Freddy, and then Jason. I kind of like Michael and Freddy more than I do Jason. So,
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to end the interview here. So,
I,
no, I'm just kidding. I'm
come
Team
on.
Jason, but I get where y'all come from. Initially, I've said this a bunch, but initially when we started, it was just Jason and Michael, but everybody kept throwing Freddie's name in there, so we added him into the original question when we used to do this years ago. So if you had to pick, so Freddie or Michael, which one? What's your favorite Halloween movie? What's your favorite Freddie movie?
I like the original Friday the 13th, which is Freddy. Yes. Sorry, it's been a
Now,
while since I've
I was gonna
watched
say
them.
Friday the 13th would give you Jason, and then Nightmare on
Okay.
Elm Street is
Nightmare on Elm
Freddy.
Street. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry.
No, no, you're fine because
Um,
technically Jason's not really in the first Friday the 13th, so you could pick that
right.
one and not really be picking Jason. So
Oh no, I do like Freddy, and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies I do like all the I like the very first one,
mhm.
and for Halloween I also like the first movie, but I don't have them on my shelf, so I can't add them to my stack of DVDs that I watch every Halloween. So,
Okay, well then let's pivot and let's talk about that. What are the movies that you like to watch on Halloween? Why don't you give me your top three?
Lost Boys,
Okay.
the first Lost Boys, Cursed is always one that I have, and then at least one of the Ginger Snaps movies.
Okay, so
Those
we're
are the
big.
three that I watch.
And
Yeah.
now we're going to be jumping ahead because the next question. So why don't we just merge us all together? Because the next question I'm going to ask is, what's your favorite cryptid or creature? But I see a theme here with that, and I'm going to say it's werewolves. Um,
I do like werewolves, yes.
yes, and I agree
Um,
with you. A good werewolf movie is worth 10 vampire movies or any other horror movie if you can do a good werewolf
yes,
movie. So
I do. And for um, for that, it's Cursed, Ginger Snaps, and then it's on my shelf and it's all the way in the living room. There's one other one that I will watch that's a werewolf movie. but I mean, my absolute
Is it
favorite cryptid.
Howling or
No,
American Werewolf in London, Dog
one
Soldiers? Oh, that one?
American Werewolf in London. Yes,
Classic, of course. Everybody should have that one in their rotation.
I finally got that one and put it on my shelf.
Very
I'm
cool.
still working on finding ginger snaps and putting it on my shelf.
Um, so when you do watch a werewolf movie, do you prefer them to transform totally into wolf form, or do you kind of like it when they're sort of humanoid, or do you care?
I like I like both
Okay.
actually. Depending on the concept of the movie, like Constantine when he not Constantine, Van Helsing when he got
Mhm.
bit, he didn't do the wolf form, he did the in World of Darkness they call it a Garu form where it's, wolfman form basically.
Mhm.
Um but for things like Blood and Chocolate, which is a good book, a good teen book, they did full wolves. So it
Mhm.
was all wolves. It I'm a fan of all of them. It doesn't really matter to
Yeah, I am
me.
too. I think it's fun. I'm more interested in the transformation, and I'm a big fan of practical effects. So if I can see
Mm,
a really cool transformation, I don't care if they go all the way or if it's halfway. Um, I think it's interesting when we get the humanoid Wolfman kind of thing, like in Underworld and
yes.
Dog Soldiers. I think it's kind of cool when you kind of have them doing some things that a normal quote unquote wolf creature would do. But even if
Hmm.
you're just a full out wolf, I think it's pretty fun. And then so you have Lost Boys on there.
Yes, I do.
I think that's a great movie too. I'm not a huge vampire fan, but I think Lost Boys, I think the 80s are the best for vampire movies. I love Lost Boys
Yes.
and Fright Night. Those are two favorites. I do like the vampires in 30 Days of Night, so that's later, but that's a different kind of vampire. But when we have like walking around talking and trying to be charming vampires, I think Fright Night and Lost Boys really knock it out of the park. So
Yeah. And also, fun fact, besides the movie Vampires by John Carpenter, Lost Boys was the first vampire film that I actually watched.
okay,
So,
very cool.
yeah.
What's
Besides
your
Interview with the Vampire, but that one's different.
Yeah, that is a little
Well,
different.
scale.
Yeah, that one has a different vibe altogether. And I think that's why
Oh,
people, the ones that are drawn to the romantic side of vampires, Anne Rice did
mhm.
a very was a had a heavy hand in that, in between that and Dracula.
Yes.
But maybe that's why I lean more towards werewolves. I'm like I said, a big werewolf fan too. So, but you were going to say, if did you have another creature or cryptid that you enjoy?
Oh, yes. He doesn't get a lot of screen time, but the Wendigo is another favorite of mine.
Yeah, lately it does seem like he's popping up a little bit more, but yeah, he doesn't get a lot of love in the movies as much, but he definitely
No.
does in indie horror. He is popping up a lot in indie horror and in a
Oh,
little traditional horror. And then of course Marvel Comics has got a fun Wendigo character that's if you really want to deep dive into the introduction of Wolverine when he pops up in the Hulk for the first time, they're both fighting a Wendigo. So there's some nerd
sorry,
information for you.
I'm writing it down because I want to watch it.
But yeah, there's some cool stuff out there for the Wendigo. But yeah, it does seem like he doesn't get as much love um
No,
in the
him and the
theater.
Mothman don't get much love.
Yeah, the Mothman, I think the Mothman is interesting because you've got the Richard Gere movie that kind of gives you the full breakdown of the legend, and then there might be a documentary or two, but there isn't anything else really out there.
Nope.
Um, But again, indie horror comes to your rescue because there are
And
quite a few books written about the Mothman. Hightower has one, and Hunter Chase put one out recently. And I don't know. We could talk about all this at the event. There's a lot of cool writers that are putting out these really deep cut cryptids and stuff.
Mm,
Of course,
once I get
if you go to West
Go
Virginia,
ahead.
you can visit the statue of the Mothman, and they have like a little town that celebrates it and everything. So,
That's actually on my list of things to do when I go that direction
yeah.
for research for my Appalachian horror novel that I'm going to try to write. So
Oh, sweet. That's fun. That's always fun. I do love a good Southern Appalachian, tale of terror. Tony Evans, R.J. Rolls, they're both really good writers, indie horror writers that deal in that kind of stuff. Um, and I like to dip my toe in it too as well, but I don't like so. And you know what? I want to slide back to what we were talking about with the movies though, because a movie that doesn't get any love that you mentioned is Cursed.
yes.
Um,
Uh,
do you have are you talking just the original or do you have the director's cut? And do you have a
I
preference?
I think the one I have is just the original. It was one of the first horror movies I
Mhm.
put on my shelf, and it stayed mostly because it was hilarious. Because who doesn't like a werewolf flipping you off after you insult, fat thighs and bad skin?
Right. And the cast is amazing. That's one of the cool things about Wes Craven in that time period. Every time he did some movie, he had amazing casts. But to get all of those actors to come together and give us a new werewolf movie, I thought that was pretty cool. I was disappointed that it didn't do well in the box office because it kind of killed the momentum of maybe them doing some more. That's the one thing with the werewolves. If they don't do it right, it kills it
Yep.
for a couple of years, and we don't see anything for a while. Um, that's always a
That sounds
bummer.
like Stephen King's Silver Bullet. I don't think, because that was originally a screenplay that got turned it was either a screenplay or a short story that got turned into a movie, but it's not a well-known book, so
Oh,
not a lot of people know about Silver Bullet.
well, I think everybody loves Cycle of the Werewolf because it's illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. So it's one of my early Stephen King novels. I remember getting it as a kid just because of the illustrations. But yeah, I mean
Oh,
it does have a cult following. You'll be surprised how many people love Silver Bullet. And
oh,
that's another one that's got a great cast. What are we talking?
Corey Hames
Yeah, Corey Haim, but Gary
from Lost
Busey.
Boys.
Yeah, Gary Busey's in it, and the guy that plays the werewolf is a very well-known character actor at the time, and yeah, that's a fun one. I think Gary Busey though is the crazy uncle is one of my favorite characters because he really embraced that '80s I don't care crazy uncle vibe. A lot of fireworks and drinking when you're not supposed to, and telling kids about things that they're not supposed to know about. That's a fun part about growing up in the '80s is all the trouble we could get into. So, um, yeah, no, I think we could probably just do an entire episode just talking about werewolf stuff because like I said, I'm a sucker for a good werewolf thing. But um,
Yes.
my last overall question: is there a book or an author that inspired you to want to um, write, period, but also write in the horror kind of realm?
Uh, the first ones that got me to actually write would be, well, at least write mystery is going to be the Hardy Boy novels.
Okay.
So, like the original Blue Book Hardy Boy novels,
Hmm.
devoured all of them in elementary school, and then found a string because there's three different, I call them strings, but three different strings of case files that I could read, and I liked one, so I picked that one, and it turned out to be the one where Iola got blown up in the first book, so that was great. Um, but as far as horror, my want to write horror actually came from a podcast that I listened to called, well, podcasts called, one of them is Old Gods of Appalachia. If you haven't listened to them, you should give them a listen. And then the other one is called Malevolent. Malevolent is done by one guy. He does everything, voices, music, all of it.
That's cool.
It's amazing and scares the bejesus out of me. Um, but actually, the push to write horror was from a friend of mine who thought after uh, I did a role playing session with a bunch of us for Halloween. It's like, you should do this. You'd be really good. I'm like, okay, why? Because I
Well,
primarily wrote like mystery and urban fantasy. I don't see myself as a horror writer,
right.
but
I get that.
he gave me a challenge and I went, okay. So now I'm in the process of, as well, while writing the rest of the Case Files series, I'm building a town in the middle of West Virginia. That's going to be my setting for my horror stories.
Very cool. And just for people who don't know, I did read your bio and I noticed that you said you are a fan of D&D. So she's talking about
Yes.
doing a campaign that she
Yes, I'm sorry.
ran
I should have
horror.
been specific.
That's okay. Not everybody knows, but a lot of people do. And I just want to make sure because that's
Yes.
going to lead into my next question of why not fantasy?
Um, I actually have a fantasy world that I have ran campaigns in.
Hmm.
People absolutely love them. Only thing is, I have to finish building that world
Right.
and the lore. And while I know I can like sit here and rest easy on like urban fantasy and horror, to challenge the realm of high fantasy terrifies me.
I get that. I get that. But there's so many different fantasy subgenres that you could dive into that maybe you could dip your toe into one of those. But and I also understand why you did the other ones because in my mind, as I've said many times, everything is horror. And
Oh yeah.
I think you could take any kind of main genre and you can really just twist it a little bit and you've got yourself a terrific, terrifying story. So I think that is a good challenge. And I find that's what I like to do is take something that's mundane or common and then try and figure
Mhm.
out how to make it terrifying or, uncomfortable. And you don't always get to do that when you're writing fantasy or whatever. So I
No,
definitely see why
but
horror would have a draw.
if you want um more examples of just regular things that would terrify you, I would definitely give the Magnus Archives a listen. Wonderful group. They are, it's the same company that sponsors Deep Nerd Media, which produces Old Gods of Appalachia. And it's it's awesome. But one of the creators, Jonathan Sims, he has 4 novels.
Hmm.
3 are by him. Can't do that. 3 are by him, and then one is him and another author. Um, and his is 13 stories, family business, and the burn line. And then the other one that he's co-writing with somebody is called From the Library of Jürgen Leitner. And that one is strictly based off of the Magnus Archives
That's cool.
podcast.
Very cool. Yeah, and it seems like those things are offering you some inspiration for your stories and your
Oh,
ideas of what you
yes.
want to do. So that's always cool. Um, I do find it, I think it's cool that you mentioned the Hardy Boys, because they've given us quite a few amazing things over the years. So we can add your books to the long list of things inspired by Hardy Boys. So um,
Inspired by Hardy Boys and
I still have my copy of The
many things.
Crooked Cat. So isn't the Hardy Boys and The Crooked Cat?
I, it might be a case file, but I don't. Crooked
Uh-huh.
Arrow is one of the Crooked Arrow is one of the original books.
Yeah, I don't think this is the old
Crooked Arrow.
school, like you were talking, the blue ones. I think it probably is one where they use the characters and they write, later down the line. But I'll have to dig it out and bring it
Yeah.
if I can remember. But it's one of those ones that stuck with me when I was a younger reader too. So, So before I forget, let's discuss the event. We're talking about Texas Horror Lit Fest, and it's going to be in Irving, Texas, at the Irving Convention Center, June 27th, 28th. Both days are 10 to 6, and it's a free event, but if you get a ticket, you can enter the raffle. So we recommend everybody go to the page. You can use the link below and go sign up for a ticket. Let us know you're coming. And that way, when you come, you can get some free stuff, or at least enter to get some free stuff. Um, the only cost that I could think of off the top of my head is I'm sure they charge for parking. That's just something that the Irving Convention Center does. So
Yeah.
it's going to have a whole bunch of really cool writers and a whole bunch of cool subgenres. And I think everybody's going to find some new stuff and get to celebrate, and get some books from some of their favorite authors. We've got a lot of people come from a lot of different places. Where are you normally? Where are you located? Where are you coming from?
I am located in Waco, so I'm actually not
Okay,
that far
cool.
from Dallas.
Nope,
Yeah,
yep.
I'm
That's
right down the
awesome.
road.
But, we don't get a ton of Waco authors up here because for some reason we don't have a ton of these events. So I'm really excited to see because we're getting a lot of Austin, Waco, Houston, and San Antonio folks up at this one. So it'll be nice for everyone in the DFW area to be able to see all the cool Texas writers. Plus, we're getting people from Massachusetts and Arkansas and
Holy
Missouri
crap.
and yeah, they're just all over the place. Connecticut. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see where everybody's from and give everybody in this area an opportunity to meet some authors that are normally not in the area. So I'm really excited for us to get there, and I can't believe it's only like a week away. Um, but it'll be fun though. It'll be a good time, and I hope everybody comes and walks around and checks out everybody and just sees what everybody has to offer. So,
Yes.
um,
I'm going to end
uh,
up with like a list of things that I'm going to have to look for. So,
right? Yeah. No, I always my wife always says, do not come back with more books than you left with. So that's the first rule. And then, then you got to try and figure out how to get a hold of all the cool books that everybody's got at the tables. So, um,
I made a rule for myself. It's like I cannot buy anything, no matter if I have money in my bag, unless I sell something,
there you go.
because it's not going to work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to explain how you came back with a bunch of books and a loss. So, um, I get
Indeed.
that. But it's going to be a fun event, and there's going to be some cool panels, and they're going to have all these different genres and different topics in the panels. And I think both days are going to be full of a lot of cool things. So hopefully people come and enjoy the panels and enjoy meeting the authors and also enjoy getting some new books to read. Um, so
I'm
I'm
one of
really,
the panel. Sorry, go
oh
ahead.
no, I'm just looking forward to us getting there. What were you going to say about the
Um,
panels?
I was going to say, if if I'm actually on the panel because I signed up for it, I'm looking forward to Would You Survive a Horror Movie?
Oh, very cool. Yeah, that would be a fun one. I know some of the panels are going to be very audience heavy,
Yeah,
audience participation heavy, and some will probably be more um, discussion with the authors on the stage. So, but you can always give it a shot. If you come, just shout some stuff out. We'll see what happens. So, not that I'm encouraging chaos, but if it happens, it happens. So, um,
no, encouraging chaos is so much fun.
right. So,
Yes.
um, dumb question because I didn't warn you beforehand. Do you have a copy of your book with you? Do you want to show it off or anything?
If you give me like 2 seconds, I can run to my bookshelf because it's
Yeah,
behind
if
me.
you want to do
Oh,
that.
hang on. Where'd you go? And there goes my microphone. It's
No, I
awesome.
can hear you. All
Ah,
right. Very cool. Dark
pretty.
Side. So everybody knows what they're looking for. There it is. And you said that's book
Do my
one.
Vanna White impression. Blah.
It's slick.
It
I
is beautiful.
right? It's always cool to get your books in hand and show them off. If
Yes.
anything, to the family and friends and stuff. But then it's cool when they get out in the wild, and then readers get the chance to check them out too. So that's always fun.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's lots of fun when you have a kid or a parent whose kid is probably, I'm going to say I think he was like 13 the first time he read the book, but he read the old copy,
uh,
not the new one. And his constant question has been, when's the new one coming out? When's the new one? It's like, honey, I have to write it first, but thank you.
yeah,
You make
right.
me so happy.
Yeah, yeah. You have to get them
Ah,
written. That's the hard part. We got to sit down and make time to write the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So,
trying very hard.
yeah, but it's a good problem, right? It's a fun problem to have because it's fun to do the research and then to get down and actually get stuff written down. So, uh,
Yes.
I
And
think it's
it's
pretty
lots of
cool.
fun to actually have, and I think it's very rewarding to have people that go, "Hey, well, you inspired me to start my writing journey," or "When is the next one coming out? Because I'm kind of done." Or like one of my friends who is also an author, and I'm trying very hard to get her to, come out of the woodwork, um, she is picking apart my characters. Like she's picking them apart. And I told her to, let me know when you get to the Irishman. Let me know what you think about him.
That's
So
always fun. It's always fun to have friends
yes.
that are kind of interested in doing the same stuff you're doing, and you can kind of get different points of view and see if it's working the way you think it's working, or if it's doing something completely different that you never even thought of, and then other people, are
Mhm.
kind of taking it a different way, which is always interesting to see. Um,
Yes,
I do
always.
enjoy the craft. There's a lot of interesting avenues that we can um, kind of get lost in when you're doing this stuff. So, um, again, everybody come out June 27th, 28th, Irving Convention Center, and swing by our tables and say hello and let us know what you think. And then tell us your favorite movie, Freddie, Jason, or Michael, which character you love the most. Let us know. So, and hopefully we'll see you in a week.
Right. Bye, guys.
Take it easy.